Aquarius, this is your May 2023 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, this is your reading. It's Romy. Thank you for taking the time to tune in, support my channel, and join me for the conversation. Okay, we're opening up this month with the energy of the Ace of Swords, and I think you are searching for something, almost the hero inside of yourself is what I want to say, because this month there's an overall theme of let's get real, let's bring something to life. And you're having this really interesting inner dialogue in Taurus energy, which is your fourth house. So it's between this public and private aspect of yourself. And fourth house is often like that pause where we assimilate and integrate everything that we've learned. And it's really what's going on deep within you. But of course, Taurus energy is looking for us to bring things to life and to really start to see it having some sense of value and meaning for us. And as you move through this early part of May, I see you with a deep desire to want to create this new value proposition for yourself, if you like, because I think there's a understanding at this point. The truth that comes from that Ace of Swords is almost saying, you know, the external validation that I may have been seeking in whatever area of my life is really not the thing that I can use for this internal sense of my own value. And I think coming to that conclusion, that realization, is where you get to kind of start on fresh new terms. Yeah, so that you can start to create this life that feels like it's more in alignment with who you're becoming. Now, Pluto retrograde in your sign from the first of the month is this inward journey around your personal power and wanting to transform your life. And I think that it is time for you to create terms that are better suited for you. It is about doing it your way. And here's where we have this balance. So if Taurus is saying to us, well, we have to get real and we have to be serious, there's a desire, I think, on Aquarius to say, well, okay, but I don't want to stop being wildly unrealistic and wildly unreasonable in the things that I think I'm capable of achieving. So it's about us finding that balance between the two. Now, with justice coming through here, what's interesting is we've got the sword shown again, but this time it's pointed downwards. So once the truth is arrived at, there's no more need for the energetic position, shall we say, that puts you almost slightly in a defensive stance, almost in a kind of ready to do battle. Something is diffused. Something that you are able to kind of reconcile for yourself calms a situation externally. And again, this is why this fourth house is really supportive for you, because effectively we're able to inner parent ourselves. Yeah, it's connected into the home and our roots. And so whatever it is that's going on around you at the moment that demands this level of clarity, this level of truth and honesty. And remember, we've still got the Mercury retrograde, so communication, misunderstandings, and, you know, things just not reaching you or being made available for you to see has perhaps created a little bit of discord or tension in some sort of area. And so now as justice comes through, we see this balancing out in some kind of an area. And we also see a breakthrough. And I think this is important because it's also something that needs to come in a fairer way. And I think you have been advocating for that for some time. You might have had to champion for yourself or others, for a relationship, or just something that really mattered to you. And what we're seeing now is the negotiations, the discussions, the toing and froing, the backwards and forwards, all of this finally in May is starting to get traction. You're starting to see how this is coming to life, how it's taking root, and it's coming through in a way that I think you're going to be happy with. Now, Juno, the asteroid goddess, also shifts into fellow air sign Gemini on the 1st. And again, your ability to be able to negotiate and to sort of bring a little bit of a charm offensive, I think, where it needs to show up, again, is going to help to diffuse any tension. I don't necessarily think that tension is coming from you, by the way, Aquarius. I just think people are kind of all riled and sort of het up and feeling into perhaps the disruptions and the anarchy of some of the eclipse vibrations. And so, you know, you owe it to yourself to kind of try to maintain that level of neutrality. If that means withdrawing, if that means taking some time out after whatever this situation and the sort of resolution or the outcome is sort of delivered, I think that's going to be really helpful in just recharging you a little bit. Now, the lunar eclipse in Scorpio is coming in on the 5th of the month at 14 degrees. There's an intensity to this which may leave you feeling a little bit drained. Yeah, what we're seeing here is a need for rest. It is lighting up your 10th house of work and career, and it feels like perhaps you've been really burning the candles at both ends a little bit, or you've really been pushing to get something over the line, or you may have felt incredibly drained or depleted emotionally in another area of your life. And then there's something landing or going on around work for you with this eclipse. And I just feel there may be this sense of just like, wow, this feels a lot. So again, just taking that time out to commune and connect into your higher self is going to really support what wants to be acknowledged. Because on the upside here, I feel that there's a tremendous opportunity for an accomplishment to come to fruition, a really beautiful reveal to come through, and an opportunity from a sense of like reinvention. Now remember, this eclipse energy with Taurus and Scorpio we've been working with for some time, so this shouldn't feel like something necessarily brand new. It's the sort of final chapter closing, if you like, of something that's been going on for some time. That's going to free you up to start working on or inviting in opportunities for other energies and other experiences. And again, I think there's this sense of you just needing time to kind of clear out whatever it is that's sort of been dominating or really consuming your time, energy, and attention. I think that you have to also be reminded that we have a lifetime to master the healing that is woven into our unique soul story. And you might have been really going through that. And so perhaps there's an opportunity in the month of May to also take a breather or to take a step back if you've been doing a lot of intense work around yourself from a personal growth perspective. Remember, Taurus wants you to kind of stop and smell the roses, activate all of those senses again. And I think that to a certain degree, you may have felt like you've lost your appetite a little bit. You know, something is just feeling like it doesn't have that same spark for you. And so perhaps there's just a requirement to kind of get back out and start enjoying the things that truly give you pleasure. Because there's going to be a time coming very, very soon where you're going to have to step up and something is going to be asked of you which feels outside of your comfort zone. Of that, there is no doubt. And yet in some ways, I feel like it's something that you've been asking for. Perhaps it's not going to show up quite in the way that you'd expected or anticipated, but nonetheless, when it does show up, you know, you're not meant to turn away. You're not meant to put this on the back burner. And I think, again, the honesty with the self of like, okay, if it's not now, then when? So there's a time to sort of galvanize your energy. And I think May is this time because as you're starting to redefine the things that you value, what holds meaning for you, it's naturally going to kind of reorder and reshuffle things. So there's going to be spaces that get opened up in your diary, in your head, in your life for these things to kind of start to take seed. Now, Venus is moving into Cancer on the 7th of the month. And in this sign, we are looking for a sense of safety in our relationships, in our money stories, again, in the things that we hold value to. We bring a sensitivity and a real tactile approach to things, but there's also an opportunity to kind of be caught up in the mind games a little bit, the emotional manipulation, because people will have an agenda that says, I need to receive the things that will give me comfort. So the personal agendas are exercised and projected in quite a powerful way. Inevitably, we can never keep everybody happy. The onus is on us through our personal growth to always be very honest with ourselves and say, why do I want the thing that I want? And why do I feel like I need to elicit this response from this person? And sort of through this inner dialogue with yourself, this fourth house, it's really going to help you to find that balance. And remember, as you look at the public versus private, how am I projecting and presenting myself out to the world versus who am I behind closed doors? There's no right or wrong to that. It's just a deeper sense of acceptance and acknowledgement at kind of what's driving your behavior. And as you own that, then it becomes much clearer how other people are either owning or disowning their own. And again, I think this is going to help you make some really powerful decisions on perhaps where you don't have an appetite for specific people anymore, and also what you're incredibly hungry for, because you might see the type of energy or the type of individuals that are really in your field of resonance and are kind of showing up in a way that feels expansive and exciting and curious and open to you. I think, remember, in the fourth house, you're also going to be kind of on this quest, not just for searching for your own hero, as we said, but also looking back to the origin of your roots. So being very attracted to past lives, exploring Akashic records, but also connecting into the future. Much more galactic energies, what is outside of this earth. And so you'll be oscillating between these things, trying to make sense of your own experiences in this journey and beyond. And I think again that this natural curiosity is going to put you in the path of some really interesting people through the course of this month. Now the big astrological shift, of course, we're going to see this month is Jupiter coming out of Aries and moving into Taurus on the 16th. In your fourth house, you know, these are themes, and it's a bit of a preview, if you like, through the course of May as to the type of things that you'll be working with. The benevolence of Jupiter, remember, will put a focus and it will expand and amplify anything that is going on in your world. And of course, that can bring opportunity and luck and fortuitous circumstances. But if you're somewhere you're not meant to be, if you have avoided the path that you know is the inner calling, then this is where you'll start to feel the discomfort and the discord of that focus and that lens from Jupiter, because it will amplify. And so as we look at public versus private in the self, as we look at what's going on within your family, your soul family as well as your blood family, there's going to be big shifts and changes that come in over this next year that you can't avoid dealing with. But when you get it right, then the propelling pathways, if you like, that are going to show up will feel deeply rich and meaningful to you. And there's a sense, I think, for Aquarius with this of like, I feel like I'm coming home. Because yeah, fourth house is about the home. I feel like I'm coming home. And that's with new people entering your life. That's with making choices and decisions that do create this life on your terms. It's about seeing things coming to life in a rich, tangible form, having taken all that initiatory spark from Aries and actually being able to alchemize it into something that feels like, okay, this is why I started in the first place, or this is why it was so important to me. Now, the new moon in Taurus on the 19th is going to be a really beautiful manifesting moon. Taurus is so wonderful at teaching us how to manifest, because it's all about the immersive experience. It's all about dropping down into the body and feeling the physicality of what it is that you want and what you desire. And when the body feels it, and that gets projected out to the universe, then we come into this real sweet harmony soul song with the things that we want. Daughter of Cups, Page of Cups coming through here. Actually some really beautiful messages showing up around that new moon for you. I also have a sense that, you know, you look to me like you just kind of need a little time out. Yeah, all work and no play will not serve you in the month of May. I think you'll have much more of a sense of lightness as we come into Gemini season. Of course, that air energy just kind of speaking your language. But around that new moon, especially if you feel like you've had the heaviness of having to deal with someone's, I want to say that there almost feels a situation where someone else has a fairly major event or situation that puts them very out of character, out of their natural sort of state of mind, state of being. And I think that, you know, you're there, you have compassion, there's an understanding, but it's also incredibly difficult to deal with. So I think there's also a need after that for some kind of clearance energy to come through for you as well. And I think the challenge is that where I see you having to kind of step up or something coming through, something for you to celebrate, acknowledge, there's also almost this feeling like I can't even share it, or this drama that's unfolding is now kind of taking the limelight. And, you know, it's okay to just sort of feel a little bit put out by that and just kind of be like, well, this was my time. This was where I was supposed to receive the recognition, or just even have the balance around me to be able to enjoy and immerse and really kind of sit and consider and reflect what this is about. But I do feel like there's something that's kind of going on here that inevitably in some form or another you seem to be inveigled and kind of wrapped up in. What I will suggest is that as you move toward the end of the month, as long as you have like these moments where you can take respite for yourself and kind of really recharge, just a reminder that this month the soul journeys, we're focusing in the light on sitting in the power, which is like a really beautiful journey to recharge and rejuvenate and restore you, connecting into source. We also have in the shadow a clearing of a block, a specific energy that is causing resistance, an issue in your life. So these journeys might be really helpful depending on kind of what's coming up for you individually through the course of this month. You'll find the link for that in the comment and the description box underneath, Aquarius. I think that you will realise that you haven't had enough time to properly savour something in the month of May. And so knowing that this time that you need to carve out for yourself will be really vital, because it will help reconnect you into something that is meant for you and helps you to feel like you. And more than anything, I want to remind you, like, how are you using the natural gifts that you have? There might only be one small area that gets to shine, but there's parts of your energetic expression that should be showing up in every single experience you have on a day-to-day basis, because that's who you are and that's what makes you feel like you, and that's why other people will love and appreciate your presence. So again, this time out feels like it gives you that chance to kind of recalibrate a little bit. I think you'll also have an apology. I think you will have an apology where you've been waiting for it. I think the apology might feel a little bit empty. And, you know, again, it's going to be down to you to create the boundary or the space needed to continue to process and reflect. I think you can still hold compassion and send healing to the situation, to yourself, to the other individual. But I think there's also that necessity to ensure that you're not returning or going back over old ground, even where Mercury retrograde might be trying to pull you back into that. It's also a deeply intuitive time to kind of make sense of things and to reassert the boundaries that you've worked hard to put into place. Don't let the what if get in the way. It's going to be a big kind of question that leaves a question mark through the course of this month. Okay, so the final 3 cards, Aquarius, if you're new to the channel, we will cover off in our extended reading. And we talk for another 25 minutes or so just to go deeper into the insights. Again, you can find all the decks that I'm using in the comment and description box underneath. I'm going to go ahead and clarify these cards now and just see what else wants to show up and how it might shape the conversation that we're going to be having. Okay, we've got the moon. But that ace is going to cut right through any confusion. 7 of Swords. Okay, Queen of Cups. 9 of Cups, beautiful. Chariot. Emperor. High Priestess, lovely. And the 9 of Earth. See, whatever's coming your way, it's just going to feel like finally. I have you saying this, finally. Okay, another Page of Cups coming through here. You might have a water sign, you know, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. And the Page of Swords. Both looking in very opposite directions though. Interesting. We will look deeper into that. 7 of Earth. 7 of Water. Got a lot of 7s showing up this month. Of course, they indicate important choices and decisions, and coming from a deeply spiritual place as well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just pull from the Life Soul Vision Oracle, Aquarius, and you will see this deck here. It is also over on my website. Please do take the time to check it out. Moon Musings, my new book, is also now on Amazon, and you'll also find the audio and the ebook available from May as well. Please do check it out if you resonate with my work. Okay, soothe your soul. Here's that sanctuary showing up for you again. 4th house is so much about the sanctuary we create within ourselves as well. Eclipse, revelation, destiny speaks. That's timely. Full moon, look at that. Full moon eclipse. That's going to be a really interesting one for you. There's a sense of it being incredibly cathartic though, and that has been coming through across the board. So rest assured, whatever transpires and is brought into the light, moving beyond your initial responses or reactions, you will feel, I sense, a deep relief. Balanced release, equinox. Root energy, built from love, beautiful. Look at all these circles coming through for you. Interesting. You're seeking wholeness, completion. There is this wrapping up feeling in May at the same time as really starting to see things come together. Okay, so this is our Enchanted Map Oracle. Into the unknown. Okay, we'll go into that message in the extended. We will also cover off a personal question for you that might not have shown itself in the main spread, as well as doing a full reveal here. So please do join me if you feel inspired. The link is below. Otherwise, thanks for taking the time to tune in, Aquarius. I wish you well, and I will see you again.